Can't explain it, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your bones. Wake up with WURD and Solomon Jones. WURD. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I'm going to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with WURD. Kawesa, good morning.
Good morning.
Yep, it is Friday.
Yay.
So that means you're going to bless us with a song. Now, I know you've been thinking about how many days you think about your song?
Well, sometimes I have one like kind of in queue, and then for whatever reason, I always I always change it like the day before, because I'm like, I'm not feeling it anymore. I need to pick a new song. So it could be anywhere from like a week to a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's when the spirit hits you.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, no, I could do this a little better today than yesterday. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, we are really looking forward to it. So glad that it's Friday, and it has been, I'll tell you one thing, it's been a hot week. I know that. It's been hot. A friend called me from Georgia yesterday. He was like, yeah, y'all hot. You know what I mean? He calling me from down south talking about we hot. Like, yeah.
Audacity.
I know. Yeah, it's bad. It is bad. And so a whole lot of things going on. I know one thing, man, COVID-19 still here, surging in 49 states, that Delta variant, and, people have to get vaccinated, man. So, that really is the thing that's going to stop it. And, we'll see, man. People have to make their own decisions. Certainly, we'll give you the information that you need, but y'all just need to know it's surging in 49 states. But there is some good news. The good news, the Senate can't agree on voting rights, infrastructure, or the Capitol insurrection, but thank God they finally agreed to recognize the black women who contributed to World War II. Members of the Women's Army Corps All-Black 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion had to fight racial discrimination, gender discrimination, and the war itself, and still they prevailed. After traveling overseas in 1945, the unit survived encounters with Nazi U-boats, a German rocket explosion, and everything else before spending months sorting through unheated warehouses stacked to the ceiling with mail and packages, according to the U.S. Army Center of Military History. The battalion cleared a 6-month backlog of mail in just 3 months, and they did it by creating their own mail tracking system. Quarters were segregated by race and gender, leaving the group to run its own facilities. There were no commemorative ceremonies for members when they came home. But this year, the U.S. Senate passed legislation to grant a congressional gold medal to the battalion. The House has to pass its companion bill and make the award official, and I know they will. So to the 7 surviving members of the 6888, to their late commanding officer, Lieutenant Charity Adams Early, Lieutenant Colonel rather, to the original 855 members and their descendants, congratulations, and thanks for all you did to make us proud. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with WURD. Senator Vincent Hughes on the billions in Pennsylvania COVID relief funds that have gone unspent. Dr. Helen Richardson of Career Consciousness on Youth and Money, plus financial consultant Akbar Hassan answers your money questions. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065. It's all free, 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at 4WURD. But first, it's the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with WURD. Story number 1, Senator Joe Manchin, a key vote in the effort to pass federal voting rights legislation, said yesterday that he and a group of Texas House Democrats, who of course fled their home state in an effort to block voter suppression bills, have come to total agreement on what they want, which is basically protect voting rights. Since arriving in Washington on Monday, Texas Democrats have sought meetings with members of Congress to urge them to pass federal voting rights legislation, including the For the People Act, the sweeping Democratic voting and election bill shot down by Senate Republicans last month. Manchin, a moderate Democrat from West Virginia, so he says, has for weeks been at the center of the conversation on voting rights because of his opposition to eliminating filibuster and his opposition to the For the People Act. Removing the legislative hurdle would allow Democrats to pass legislation with a simple majority. After meeting with members of the Texas delegation, Manchin said the next step is to put together a pared-down bill that focuses solely on protecting the right to vote and the procedure of voting. I don't even know what that means. What I know is this. Senator Joe Manchin better stop playing with me, man. You know, I'm ready to send some money to whoever it is running against him, whenever they run against him, because this dude is for games. And we can't play games with our voting rights. This is targeting black people. And so, I want to know what pared down means. I want to know what you're trying to take out of the For the People Act. I want to know what you're trying to take out of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. I want to know what it is that you're actually talking about. Because if you're not talking about full voting rights for everybody, I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm just at that point where I can't play games with this anymore, because this is about black people. It ain't about nobody else. It's about targeting black people with these voter suppression laws, trying to make sure that we don't vote. That's what it's about. Picking us off through all kinds of things. Picking us off through voter ID. That's 13% of black people gone, right? Picking us off through waiting 6 hours in line. That's your senior citizens gone, right? Picking black people off through all kinds of voter intimidation, all kinds of games. And I can't allow that, man. So you pare it down and then they figure out something else. Okay, this is how we're going to target them now, because we can get around this because it's not as expansive. I don't want to hear it, man. Joe Manchin got to go.
Yeah, he does. For me, this man is a snake in the grass to me. That's how I see it. He is a Republican dressed in, Democrat clothing. And I don't want to hear it. I really, really don't want to hear it either. Bruh, you sat here and ran on the ticket as a Democrat, but you are doing nothing to benefit your folks. And so I'm not here for it. Figure out what it is that you're going to do. Stop playing all these games, because our lives, our vote, they're not to be played with. They are not to be played with, and I need for him to have several seats and just make sure that he gets on the same train as the rest of the Democrats. This should not be a thing, and that's why I get so frustrated with the Democratic Party, because it's we can't just unify. We can't just shut up and be like, yo, let's all just work together for the better good. No, we got to always have these turncoats up in there, and I can't stand it.
I know. Constantly, man. Y'all got to learn how to work together, or you got to learn how to punish people that don't. Say what you will about Trump. Everybody that was against him, he's going and literally campaigning against them. You know what I mean? Started campaigning against them from day one. Say what you want, but that's effective. That's effective, because the one thing that a politician fears is not being in office anymore. It's the best job they ever had for most of them. You know what I mean? And so you reward your friends, man, in politics, but you punish your enemies. And if the enemy is within, you make sure that you get them out. Now let's talk about our kids. Story number 2, equipped with air purifiers in each classroom and planning to require anyone in schools to wear a mask, the Philadelphia School District will welcome back its 120,000 students in all buildings on August 31st for the return of full-time in-person learning for the first time since the onset of the pandemic. District officials announced yesterday we've taken every precaution and added some precautions to ensure that we have appropriate mitigation strategies, Superintendent William Height said during a news briefing at Juniata Park Academy. There, officials displayed the 3 types of air purifiers that will be placed in classrooms and throughout the district's more than 200 buildings by the end of July. Using Active Pure technology originally developed by NASA, the purifiers can eliminate 99% of the novel coronavirus within 3 minutes, said Chief Operating Officer Reggie McNeil. They also eliminate other viruses, bacteria, mold, and fungi on both surfaces and in the air. It started off with testing out for the space station, McNeil said. It's been tested by independent laboratories. It's been tested in schools. It's been tested without being in space, so we're pretty confident on the product. Teachers also seem to be happy with it, according to Jerry Jordan. And so we'll see if this is enough to protect our kids. But schools fully open this fall with masks and air purifiers. Boyce, what do you think?
I mean, I think that at the end of the day, schools need to open, but it's definitely a scary time. I know several friends of mine who are teachers who decided to quit because their schools weren't protecting them the way that they felt, they needed to be protected. And of course, with this variant, going around and, parents of kids not getting, vaccinated, these kids are now, in these little incubators and they're spreading it to everybody else and, getting folks sick. So there's definitely, some fear there. I don't know. I'm glad that there's some that are happy. And the thing is that, you also need to make sure that you have eyes on some of these kids. Sometimes teachers are, the first line of defense when it comes to abuse, when it comes to food insecurities, when it comes to, medical health issues that are going on with these kids. And so, they are really kind of the first line of defense. And so I'm conflicted, but at the same time, I do understand that it is necessary to make sure that we get these kids, up and running and, back in school.
Yeah, they got to get back in school. And so, we'll see how this works. And if it doesn't, we'll have to go to plan B. And I want to talk about something else. So let's talk about story number 3, my commentary for the day. When I learned that NFL cornerback Richard Sherman was arrested following a domestic violence incident, I was afraid for his family. And then I was afraid for our people. Because Sherman, who's been a strong voice for black justice, would lose credibility if he hurt those he claimed to love. And in reality, you can't speak for the community if you're abusing your family. Let's be clear. Domestic violence is serious, and those who engage in it should get help, get arrested, or get out. Because abusing one another is not love, it is a crime, and it should be treated that way. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the incident involving Sherman, according to his wife. But video of the incident shows some scary moments, with Sherman violently trying to break down his in-laws' doors in the moment before he was arrested. But this story is not just about violence. It's also about another problem we don't talk about in our community, mental health. According to his wife, Sherman is undergoing mental health counseling, and prosecutors revealed in court that Sherman was also taking antidepressants. On the night of the incident, he drank alcohol and expressed suicidal thoughts, according to his wife. And that can't be left out of the conversation, because for many of us in the black community, mental health is the underlying issue that triggers domestic violence. Richard Sherman, who was released on his own recognizance after the judge called him a pillar of the community, walked away alive after his mental health episode. But others aren't so lucky. Walter Wallace, a black man whose mental health crisis led to domestic violence in his parents' house in Philadelphia, was shot dead by police. So yes, we must talk about domestic violence and the harm that it causes, but if we're going to deal with the roots of it, we must also talk about mental health. I want to hear from you. You give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show, 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Domestic violence is a serious thing. It's a silent killer. It is something that too many of our families deal with, and we deal with it silently. But the other thing that we deal with silently, without treatment, is mental health. Richard Sherman taking antidepressants and then alcohol on top of that, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. You're talking about mind-altering, mood-changing substances, and you just don't know what the results are going to be. He was talking about killing himself, not killing his family, killing himself. I'm going to hang myself. I'm going to kill myself, and so thank God he comes out of that alive, and nobody in the family is hurt, according to the wife, right? But the reality is that too many of us, man, are going through mental health episodes, mental health crises, mental health problems, and we're going through it alone, and we're going through it silently. We can't allow that to happen in our community. And the deep thing is there is a stigma around mental health in the black community, right? Like, you can't admit that you're going through mental health problems, that you don't feel right mentally, that something is off, that something is going on, right? But if anybody should be going through mental health crises, it's us. Because we live with the trauma every day of living in a society where you have whole systems set up against us, whole systems set up to our detriment. Right now, people trying to figure out how we're going to protect black people and allow them to vote in 2021. Right now, going through an issue where Richard Sherman, when his wife called, man, she made some pleas that we're going to talk about on the other side of this break, because black people, more than anybody else, are under pressure, right? And you know, susceptible to some mental health issues. And we need to begin to talk about it. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
Stage Door, focusing on arts and culture in and around Philadelphia. Hosted by Tiffany Bacon and co-moderated by Jeffrey Page of the Philadelphia Theater Company. Part of The Source, Fridays at noon, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. Sponsored by New Voices sponsor Comcast, NBC Universal, and Pico.
Join WURD for our Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. I'm Tiffany Bacon. I'll be broadcasting live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. The tour kicks off on Friday, July 16th at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center, 2800 Cobbs Creek Parkway. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the black community. Show your support and join or renew your 4WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour beginning Friday, July 16th at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. WURD, showing love this summer.
I would like to play a little tune I just composed not so long ago.
Hey family, do you like hearing the best jazz selections aired by 3 of the best jazz announcers in Philadelphia? Well, tune in to 96.1 FM,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM, WURD Radio, independent black media for Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Hear Freedom Sounds of Jazz 10 p.m. Fridays with your hosts in rotation, Aquila, Jonathan Bay, and David Fritz. That's 10 p.m. Friday nights on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM, independent black media.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. Delays getting busy on I-95 southbound from Cobbin Avenue down through Bridge, jammed up through construction. Busy again, Betsy Ross through Girard. Further south, jammed Bluebird down to the Commodore Barry Bridge Center lane. Construction continues northbound side looking good. Westbound Vine Expressway, Slow Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill westbound brought to pass Young, jammed up through construction. Further west, heavy from King of Prussia out the 202 through that work zone. Eastbound 76 delays Montgomery through Spring Garden. Southbound Boulevard of Route 1, that is a bit slow from Broad down to Fox in that stretch. Looking at 55 northbound Deptford into 42 delays there. Don't overpay for glasses. Get 2 pairs and a free exam for just $69.95. The exam alone is worth $50. That's not just a better deal. It's America's Best. Book your exam online today in certain states. Eye exams provided by independent ophthalmologists. See store for details. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Sunny skies, hot and humid today. 95 this afternoon, will feel like 100 degrees. A muggy night tonight. 76 the low on Saturday. Increasing clouds in the afternoon and increasing humidity too. 95 the high, will feel like 102. Late day showers and thunderstorms Saturday and a round of showers and thunderstorms during the day on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, a high of 85 degrees. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Back by popular demand. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word, and we're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I thought it was important that we talk about what happened with Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman is a prominent NFL player, plays cornerback, started out with the Seattle Seahawks, played also with the San Francisco 49ers. Big voice on black justice issues. He was arrested in a domestic violence incident where apparently he was going through a mental health episode. The wife called, said he's wrestling with my uncle. He's saying he's going to kill himself. And, he's talking about, doing some self-harm. He leaves his house, goes to the in-laws' house, is trying to break down the door, is calling out his father-in-law, right? And, the wife is calling the police and saying, look, if the police come, please don't shoot him. Who else has to say that, man, when they call the cops? Who else has to say, I know that it seems bad. He's going through a mental health episode. Please don't shoot him. If anybody should be experiencing mental health issues, it's us. Because we live in a society, man, where we are under constant pressure. And I know it doesn't feel like it to us because to us it's normal, but nobody else has to go through that. Nobody else has to call the cops and say, oh, and by the way, please don't kill him when you get here. Nobody else has to go into a store and worry about Karen, showing out, calling the cops, and she's the problem, but you're the one who gets arrested. You're the one who gets harassed. You're the one who gets reprimanded. You're the one who has trouble. Nobody else has to worry about that. Nobody else has to worry about, okay, well, we got to go back to school and we got to deal with coronavirus, but you still got asbestos in there. Ain't nobody else got to worry about that. Black people are under constant pressure, and we don't even know it. We don't even, outwardly feel it because it's normal for us. We're used to having to go around all of these systems that are put in place to trip us up. We're used to having to go around a financial system where you can go into your own financial institution. Somebody hear me, right? When you go into your own financial institution where you've been banking for years and can't get a loan. Despite your credit, despite whatever down payment you have, despite your job, all of that, but Karen could go in there and get a loan without none of that. Nobody else has to go through that, right? And so when you talk about mental health in our community, if anybody has a right to feel like, if I'm going through a mental health crisis, man, it's normal. It's us. But we got a stigma around it. And the only thing I want to say to us this morning about that is that we have to remove the stigma so that we can get the help we need so that we or the people around us don't get hurt. Kuwaisa is real. Mental health is real, and we have to talk about it.
We really do have to talk about it because it is so real. And I feel, I don't have facts behind this, but I feel that our community suffers from a lot more issues related to mental health than we even know because of that stigma, because of the fact that, it's frowned upon to get therapy. People look at you and you're like, oh, you're weak because you're going and trying to get help and better yourself, and it all, some of that for me, it carries over from slavery, right? We have dealt with trauma after trauma after trauma. And there was no way that we could deal with it. You rip children and babies from, the bosoms of mothers. You rip whole families apart. And we're supposed to continue and keep going and act like nothing happened. And that's how we have continued to live our lives all the way up until today. And so you are absolutely correct. It is something that we need to talk about. It is something that is plaguing our community. I guarantee you that half of the shootings, killings, and things like that are going on, if we had better access to mental health facilities, people, resources, we wouldn't be seeing half the stuff that we're seeing.
Yeah. Yep. And that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is the socioeconomic disparity, right, in our community, where you don't have, mental health treatment that is community-based in most black communities. It's just not there, right? And so you have to go outside of your community in order to get those services. Now, I'm thankful, man. We have Dr. Helena Fontes, who is a black woman who is working with us at Man Up PHL to provide some mental health. You've got a number of black organizations now coming together to provide mental health, to folks in our community. Black Men Heal, one of those organizations, trying to provide some mental health specifically for brothers, and so we need that. We need that because, we talk about the police shootings and all of that stuff, but people who are going through mental health crises are more likely to be shot and killed by police. And so you have that intersection between your blackness and whatever mental health issue you're going through. Well, that makes you far more likely to be shot and killed by police. That's what happened with Walter Wallace, right, here in the city of Philadelphia. It's what happens with people all across the country more than you know. But because we focus on what is happening because we are black, and we certainly should do that, there is less focus on the mental health aspect of it. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. Joyce from East Oak Lane is on line one. Go ahead, Joyce.
Good morning, Solomon and Kalisa. Thank you for having my call today.
You're welcome.
I'm a former social worker, and I remember that there was, at one time, mobile units, mobile mental health units that would come out to those kind of calls. When people called and said, somebody's going through a crisis. Where is the Department of Behavioral Health and Mental Disabilities now? What are they doing? Why aren't they connected to the police department? They're part of the city government.
Yeah.
I mean, that would help because they can identify those mental health crises that people go through. I don't understand why the police have to be called and then they don't think, well, somebody said a mental health issue. Why they don't think, let's call the department and get somebody with us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you say that because that is something that is, it's being talked about. It's one of the things that people mean when they say defund the police. Take some of the money from them and give it to folks who can deal with these mental health crises, right? And in certain communities across the country, they have that in place, but it's not universal. And because it's not universal, people die, So I hear you. And it's absolutely something that should be universal and something that should absolutely be in place in the city of Philadelphia for any call that has to do with mental health. So, Joyce, I want to thank you this morning for your call to WURD Radio. Let's go to Wes from Mount Airy on line 2. Go ahead, Wes.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
I think I've talked about before. I cringe at when people start talking about they're strong, black, or black male or black female. I cringe at that statement because too many times in our community, we take overcoming adversity as a badge of honor. So if something happens, oh, we'll get over it. And it's like it puts you in a situation that if you show weakness, it's almost looked at as a moral failing on you. Like if you had any type of mental issues, it's something that you did or you're a weak person.
Right.
And it's like when we talk about mental health, if the person needs medication, that requires health care. And we have a lot of people that are okay with people not having health care. I mean, and it's like it goes back to a conversation we had before when we talked about violence. When you look at violence and poverty, when you look at violence and not access to jobs, kids being in facilities to learn to have asbestos and stuff like that. The stress is not having a job. The stress is intergenerational trauma and the trauma of calling a police officer when your spouse or loved one having a mental breakdown, having to plead and sit there and say, please don't shoot that person.
Yeah.
And every time in those situations, we are the ones that's supposed to sit there and be like, oh, I forgive you. Think about movies with the magical Negro. The black man or the black woman is the person that's supposed to be the caretaker of everybody else.
Yeah.
So if that white woman in that movie is having a mental failing, it's the black person sitting there encouraging her or him to sit there and be a better person.
Yep. Yep.
But when you look at society, that same thing is not placed on us. We're looked at as we are degenerate, or it's a mental failing in terms of our social structure or how we grew up as kids, or the family structure is broken down or something like that. So it's like when we look at this, it's mental health, but then it also comes with social workers. Social workers, they have to get a lot of degrees, but they're not getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like that comes in part too. You need people to be able to be in that situation to be able to help people in time and crisis of need. And I always come to this. You can't sit and just stress changes people. Trauma changes people. And it's like, this is not something that came out of it's just in the period yesterday. And it manifests in Sherman. And then add with Sherman, he's a football player.
Yep.
So
you don't know what's going on in his head from all of those blows to his head.
Exactly. So you have a man, in order to feed his thing for generations, is beating his brain and changing the makeup in his brain. And that's a part of football and CTE that's not talked about until the person kills himself or commits suicide, like Andre Waters or the linebacker at San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you, man. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. Derek from North Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Derek.
Good morning, Brother Solomon. Love, peace, blessing, and prosperity.
Same to you.
Thank you, Solomon. There are a few terms today in words that I don't subscribe to and I don't like. I don't like the term defund the police. I don't like the term critical race theory. And I don't like the term that the 13th Amendment says that we're free except. So, these are things that are conscious on my mind as far as defund the police. I mean, that sounds absurd to make a statement like that. And I think it was deliberately pushed forward to cause chaos that it has caused, because there were people that were saying that, maybe we need to reconsider the forefront term that we're going to use as far as defund the police. The other thing is that critical race theory, why not critical race finding? This is scaring a lot of people. Critical race theory, who might have had generations of family members. So we have to get on.
What's wrong with the term critical race theory?
Because it suggests that it's not absolute or factual. It's maybe considerations or some thoughts, a theory. The term theory itself is suspect to the cause, Solomon.
What's the
critical race
All right.
findings.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the theory of relativity. Why you don't say nothing wrong with that?
Because relativity, the theory of relativity just bespeaks that there are things that we're not sure of, and there are things that that are out of our reach at this point, but these are our findings.
Yeah, everything factual starts with a theory. So, you know, critical race theory holds that the laws of this country, right, are racist in nature. That racism literally plays out through the law. And so I don't see anything wrong with that. And I don't see anything wrong with calling it a theory, right? Well, that we believe, because, you know that it's a fact, but, you know, other people could argue on the other side of it. And so you call it a theory, and then you argue your point. You know, I don't see anything wrong with critical race theory. There's so many theories, but the only thing that something is wrong with it is critical race theory.
Well, you know, Solomon, I'm not really going to go word for word. That's just my opinion. But, of course, other people on the other side will feel some objection to it, similar to people who say defund the police. People on the other side, if you say theory, then it's not facts to them, and it might be your opinion versus theirs. So, you know, when you come out with the statement, critical race findings, that bespeaks of this is truth, not theory.
Yeah, but you know what? They're going to argue with you. And I hear you, man. I want to thank you for sharing your opinion this morning. They're going to argue with it no matter what. Once you say critical race, that's it. You could put any other word on the end. It doesn't matter. They're going to argue it anyway because they're arguing for racism. You know, folks believe that racism is fine, that racism doesn't hurt anybody, that racism isn't even real. And so once you say critical race, they're going to argue with you whatever the third word is. So, you know, theory, fact, you know, whatever, you know, those on the other side are going to argue that, man, because they want racism to stay in place. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the show right here. We're taking your calls. Deep conversation this morning right here on WURD.
The holistic colonoscopy. No IV sedation. Your colonoscopy is due. You don't have someone to drive you home. You don't want to drink the prep. You don't want to be sedated with the Michael Jackson drug propofol. Does that sound like you? Call Blake Gastroenterology at 215-849-4902. Visit the website www.jsblake.com and make your appointment today. Drive yourself home after the holistic colonoscopy.
Tune in Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power, hosted by Mark Palmer.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
This report sponsored by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. Looking at southbound I-95, that's a jam ride this morning from Common Avenue down through a bridge. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard, further south, jam Blooper down to the Commodore Barry Bridge because of ongoing construction. Westbound Vinesville Parkway through the Schuylkill westbound from Broad to Passyunk, jam there through construction. Busy University through southeastbound Dudley's Boulevard through Spring Garden. 295 northbound, you're jammed up from 42 to Route 30. Accident there off to the left southbound Woodcrest Station into the White Horse Pike Route 30. Traffic there also pretty heavy. Don't overpay for glasses. Get 2 pairs and a free exam for just $69.95. The exam alone is for $50. That's not just a better deal. It's America's Best. Book your exam online today. In certain states, eye exams are provided by independent ophthalmologists. See store for details. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Sunny, hot, and humid today. This morning, temperatures will warm to 90 degrees by lunchtime, and 95 this afternoon will feel like 100 degrees. Hot weather continues for Saturday. With higher humidity, 95 will feel like 102, and fuel late-day showers and thunderstorms. Sunday, not as hot, 85, but mostly cloudy skies and showers and thunderstorms are likely. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We're talking about a number of things this morning, including the story of Richard Sherman, who was arrested on a domestic violence incident. Now, thank God, his wife said nobody was hurt, but he was going through a mental health episode. He's on antidepressants, actually also undergoing mental health counseling, according to his wife. And so this has been something that's been identified, something that they are trying to deal with. But he drank a bunch of alcohol and apparently, goes into this mental health episode. And the wife calls the police and is like, look, please don't shoot him. Who else got to say that when they call the cops, man, but black people? And so when I'm thinking about this incident and thanking God that nobody was hurt, right? I'm thinking about the fact that mental health in our community is something that goes untreated, something where we don't have the services that we need. Somebody like a Richard Sherman has the money and the access in order to get the mental health help that he needs and still can have bad outcomes. We don't talk about it enough, man. And, it made me think about Walter Wallace, who also undergoing a mental health episode, also, in the house fighting with the people around him, his parents in his case. And he didn't survive his mental health crisis. And that's the case for far too many of us, man. And so I want to know what you think. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. Sister Murray from Northern Liberties is on line one. Go ahead, Sister Murray.
Hey, Solomon, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
That's good.
Solomon, thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Now, Solomon, I know that you're an author, right?
Yes.
Now, can you tell me all the books that you wrote by name?
Yeah. Pipe Dream, The Bridge, Pipe Dream, The Bridge, Ride or Die, Cream, Payback, The Last Confession, The Gravedigger's Ball, The Dead Man's Wife, Keeping Up with the Jones, Daddy's Home, and then in November, my new book is coming out. It's called 10 Lives, 10 Demands.
Well, that is totally awesome. And I hope that everybody hears this, and please get one of these books. Now, Solomon, I got something for you. Listen to this.
Okay.
Why is it that we keep getting set up by what they glamorify, drugs, marijuana, alcohol, all these things they put before us and let us see. You have it all. And the same things that they do, they lock us up for it. Okay, mental health is real. It's real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten even worse with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? They're constantly setting us up because they say, here, you can have it. But the same thing that they give you, they lock you up for it. You can smoke all the weed you want. But guess what? If I catch you with it, you're going to jail. You can drink all the alcohol that you want to drink. If you're drunk driving, you're going to jail. Why do we keep falling for the same thing? We need to do better. We need to learn what they're trying to do with us. Constantly, alcohol, drugs. You're putting it out there. Solomon, you know what? You're a bad man. You got good sense. You got this radio station. You use it, and you do the best that you can. And you keep putting this word out there. You keep teaching these young men. Stay away from all of those drugs that the white man is constantly setting us up for.
Solomon,
I hear
have a
you.
good Friday. Goodbye.
All right, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We certainly appreciate it. Olanian from Nicetown is online, too. Go ahead, Olanian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You are doing well.
Thank you. So I hope you're doing well, too.
I'm calling because although I can read, which is a good thing, that family put me through school, but what I don't know is much about the internet. I want to buy the book called Critical Race Theory. I heard so much about it, I might as well read it. But in order to get it from Harriet Bookstore, Hakeem's Bookstore, or Uncle Bobby's Bookstore, which is closest to me, you have to be able to get on the web. And that is a problem.
I don't know that there's a book called Critical Race Theory. Critical Race Theory is a discipline. It's something that's taught. But I don't know that there is a book. Well, there is one. There's a book called Critical Race Theory: An Introduction. And I want to see how old this book is, because Critical Race Theory is not new. Let's see. Yeah, that book was originally published in 1995.
It's written by a black woman. I forget her name, Chinkin Shaw or something like that.
Oh, I don't know about that one. This is another one. It's written by two people, Gene Stefanchik and Richard Delgado, and it's published in 1995.
Well, I certainly want one of those books, and the people at Uncle Bobby said they have it, but I have to go to the internet to do it, to buy it. I like to do it old school, go to the bookstore and walk to home. Is that possible?
I don't know. I think you should call the library. I think that would be a first step. And actually, Tiffany Baker's going to be at the library today. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I think that would be a first step if you want to actually go and get a book on critical race theory. But yeah, you can call the library. That's your first step. All right.
So y'all going to be on 63rd Street? I mean, Concrete Park Avenue?
I'm looking it up now. All right. I'll let you know in a few minutes. We'll announce it. Okay.
All right. Peace.
All right. Thanks, Olanian. We appreciate your call this morning on WURD. Jaleel from South Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Jaleel.
God bless you, Solomon. Sometimes I wonder how you hold it together, because it seems like we fighting on all fronts against all kinds of stuff coming from these people on the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking when you brought up mental health, it kind of gave me some kind of awareness in the way where I was looking at the little young girl that was put over in Delaware. And the mental health crisis she's going through right now, for them breaking her car windows out and attacking her and then just leaving her there. Actually, they could have called somebody to the scene or something. They just left the girl stranded. But overall, I also want to ask you if you could balance running the show and we're trying to run against Manson, because it seems like we fighting on all fronts anyway. So you might have to run against him.
Well, I don't live in West Virginia, so I'm out. They need somebody in West Virginia to run against him.
That's right, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
But I hear you, man. I hear you, because this dude, almost by himself is crippling an agenda that could actually help our folks, man, and he's got to be dealt with. So I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. I certainly appreciate it. And I want to hear from you. You give us a call, 215-634-8065. You can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we do have a few comments here today, this morning. I'm trying to pull it up. Here we go. So Diane Hamilton Mitchell, good morning to you. Tell Sugar Lady we said, hey. Winona Hayes Poole says, good morning, Word family. TGIF, enjoy your weekend, everyone. Gail Robinson, good morning to you as well. And then also we have here Casa Who checking us out. And then we also have, I'm just trying to scroll here. Tracy McCall Gordon says, TGIF family, I think we need more funding into mobile crises response instead of calling the police first, or emergency numbers with real people who actually pick up the phones for crisis. That will connect us with therapists or something like that. So that's her comment. Rebecca Truxton, good morning to you as well, and thanks so much for checking us out. Also, I know a couple of folks weighed in on YouTube. Purposely Pandora says, good morning to everyone. And Joanne Kemp, good morning to you. She says, they've closed down a lot of mental hospitals in the area, and insurances don't pay for long-term treatment. This isn't new. Unfortunately, we need it more today. Good morning to Lola Khan as well. Thanks for checking us out. Kwesi Vickers Jr. over on Facebook. He's checking us out from Pine Hill, New Jersey. And then Kia Philpott is checking us out also. She says, I find the people opposed to critical race theory never read an article, book, nothing, and then say they don't agree with it. How can you disagree with it when you essentially don't know what it is? She's right. She's so right about that. So, yeah. Shalata C.A. Sankofa, thanks for checking us out this morning. And also Ayatunde Garrett, thanks for checking us out. Also, Adele Griffin. Solomon, I believe Joe Manchin wants to scale down the dark money part of one of those bills because he gets contributions from that source, like many other politicians. So that's where he's at. Kay Alexander Smallwood, yours is kind of long. I'll read some of it here. It says, it's not just about the socioeconomic disparity, but it's also the breakdown and crumbling of the black family structure and the black community structure, the inability to communicate generation to generation on what is a quality way to raise your children, what is a quality way to behave in polite society. All of these things and factors are contributing factors to poor mental health. So he goes on to say more, but it's just it's a little long there. So we get your gist though. And lastly, because I know we're going to break, Deborah Dorn Carter, she's talking actually about what our last caller called about. Solomon, did you hear about the young lady being pulled over by state police in Delaware? They busted her back window out, scared her to death, thinking she was her car was part of a robbery, and she was every bit of 19 or 20 years old, and they left her there when they realized they had the wrong car. So those are just a few of our comments that we have here this morning, but definitely keep them coming. But yeah, those are our comments.
All right. Well, I want to remind you to join WURD for our Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. Tiffany Bacon will broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. The tour kicks off today at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center, 2800 Cobbs Creek Parkway. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the black community. Show your support and join or renew your 4WURD membership on site and win tickets to the 20th anniversary Tasty Treats Party featuring WURD's own DJ Mike Nice and Amir Questlove Thompson from The Roots. That's the Summer Freedom Neighborhood Tour beginning today, Friday, July 16th at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We're going to go to break on the other side. We're going to talk with Senator Vincent Hughes about some money that's been left on the table by the state with coronavirus relief. They're going to be talking about that today. We'll join him in a few minutes. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Get in and get seen at the Einstein Orthopedics Fracture Care Clinic. If you think you've broken a bone or have been told by your doctor that you have a fracture, the Einstein Fracture Care Clinic offers same-day, in-person, or telehealth appointments. We don't just give you peace of mind. Einstein Orthopedics provides answers when you need them. Visit einstein.edu/fracturecare to learn more.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Support small, black, and brown-owned businesses by joining the Diverse Procurement Collaborative, a community of business leaders committed to supplier diversity. Get engaged at chamberphl.com.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Independent Black Media. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Good morning. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I'm going to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Joining us now, Senator Vincent Hughes represents the 7th Senatorial District, is also in leadership in the state senate here in the state of Pennsylvania. Senator Hughes, good morning.
What's up, Solomon? How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good. So, there's some COVID relief funds apparently that have been left on the table in the state of Pennsylvania. How much is it and how did it happen?
Well, what we're having in Pennsylvania, what we're seeing is now becoming a national issue. As you know, Solomon, in the American Rescue Plan, thank you, President Biden and Vice President Harris, states were provided billions of dollars in discretionary funding so they could figure out on their own how they wanted to utilize those dollars to be spent to help the people of their various states. In Pennsylvania, that total came to $7.3 billion. And I didn't say 7.3 million. I said $7.3 billion in discretionary funds. And it was up to the legislature to negotiate with the governor on how those dollars were going to be spent. Long story short, the Republican-controlled legislature in the House and the Senate, and you know they control it, made the decision to sit on that money, to not spend it, and just to let it sit there. They put $2.4 billion in the rainy day fund, and there was no need to do that because the state had a budget surplus of $3.4 billion. No need to put any money in the rainy day fund, at least not to that level. And then they just allowed another $5 billion just to sit. And so it's sitting right now. And what we're saying is that we need to come back in September when we're back in session and spend the rest of that money because people are suffering in every community across Pennsylvania. And it's that simple. And it's an issue that is occurring in many states across the country. The intent, as you well know, was to get the money out to help the people, and the Republican legislature in Pennsylvania and in other states are making a decision not to spend that money.
Well, let me ask you this, because, you know, there's Democrats in the legislature, too. So, and you're, of course, in the legislature. So what happened? I mean, was there a vote? What did the Democrats do to try to get that money spent, if anything? What happened?
So in the course of the negotiations, and again, we're operating in Pennsylvania we're basically flush with cash, all right? So, as I said, a $3.4 billion budget surplus. We've never had that in Pennsylvania, never had that in Pennsylvania. This additional money from the American Rescue Plan. We had a lot of money to do a lot of things. As you know, we offered up proposals, ideas for the last 6 months or so on how that money should be spent, and putting a little bit aside in case there's a budget problem. And we even offered in the course of the negotiations in the last 10 days, I'll say around June 20th, June 18th, it was even offer to the Republicans to do something that we had to hold our nose, which was offer a corporate tax cut just to get them to come to the table and spend those dollars significantly in education and health care and what have you. And they just said, no, not going to do it. We're just going to sit on the money and not spend it. And so, although in the budget there was some modest increases in a number of areas, $30 million of new money for violence prevention, $300 million for education, it really is a policy crime to have that kind of money sitting on the table and not allowing it to be spent.
And so, why would they not want the money to be spent? I'm not clear on that. I don't understand.
Well, I think that's what they need to be asked. Okay. You know, their public statements are that, well, you know, we never know how the budget of the future is going to look like, and we think we just need to hold on this money, and in case there's an economic downturn in the future, and there's a reason you have the rainy day fund. The rainy day fund is to prepare for that. There's no reason to put $2.4 billion into the rainy day fund because it's just way over top in terms of what's necessary. So we think there may be a political spin to it. You know, next year is a big election year for governor in Pennsylvania. Next year's a big election year for state reps, state senate in Pennsylvania, obviously congressional as well, U.S. Senate. We think that their ideas may be more political in terms of trying to do stuff in the political season. But the truth of the matter is people are suffering. You know it as well as I do. URD listeners know it extremely well. And this money needs to be spent, and it needs to be spent now to help the people across Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. So what were the proposals that the Democrats put forth to try to spend the money? What were the specific proposals?
Well, we put out a piece on the Senate. Democrats put out a piece in May, early May, New Deal for Pennsylvania. You can go to my website or pasenate.com, go to that website and see the details. But fully funding the transition to put all the money into the fair funding formula in education, which would have meant significant new resources for low-income school districts across Pennsylvania. We talked about significant spending in, obviously, child care spaces to really improve our child care network, fixing up broken and toxic schools, money to go into job creation and job training and job preparation. Because as technology runs ahead of us dramatically, Solomon, you know this, we got to increase the amount of skill set for our folks to have to be able to deal with these new jobs that are being created. We talked about over $100 million for community violence intervention programs, mental health programs, things of that nature, all legitimate, all responsive to the issues with the pandemic, and all consistent with the dictates and the laws coming out of the American Rescue Plan. Everything we did was consistent with what the American Rescue Plan asked us to do with the spending of this money. The House Democratic Caucus put out a similar proposal. They took their proposal all around the state of Pennsylvania, taking it to communities so people could see it and understand it. So it's not like we didn't have ideas or thoughts or specific programs that were on the table that could have been invested in. Republicans chose to make the decision. They chose to make the decision to sit on the money and not spend the money.
And so,
and I would just add this, Solomon. The reason why we're saying that we can come back in September and get this done and spend the rest of this money for housing programs, for, as I said, community violence intervention programs and things of that nature, is because this money is not tied to the traditional time frame of June 30th of 2022 is when you normally deal with the budget. You know how that process works, right? So this money is available money, not tied to that time frame, and can be spent and should be spent because that's what the American Rescue Plan requirement was. I talked about this with President Biden when he was at the Constitution Center. He's very concerned about this. Our congressional delegation, Senator Casey, all the folks are like, whoa, spend the doggone money. That's what we voted for. We voted for it to be spent. Get it out there.
So I'm still on how y'all let this happen though. I'm just going to be real honest.
Go ahead.
How you let the money just sit there?
Well, first of all, it ain't how y'all let the money just sit there.
It is, but I mean everybody's there. The Democrats are there. The Republicans are there.
Exactly.
So how does this happen?
The Republicans control the legislature. The Republicans are in the majority in the Senate, the majority in the House of Representatives. They control the process. And they made the decision that even when offered something that we thought, a corporate tax cut, we thought that they might be interested in, they made the decision, no, we're going to walk away from it. We're not going to spend the money. The truth of the matter is you should ask Republicans why they made this decision. Why would they let this money just sit and not invest in the people in Pennsylvania?
Mm-hmm. And so what are you doing now to try to fix this? What's next?
We're trying to educate folks and organize folks and get folks out there to rally Republicans to come back in September when we're back in session in September and demand that they spend the rest of this money to get out to the people.
All right. Well, suppose the Republicans suppose they say, well, no, we're not going to do it. Then what? What's next?
Well, maybe there's a court action that could be filed. Maybe since it's federal money that was sent down, maybe our folks in Congress have to talk about taking some action that way to force the states to spend this money. But right now, and this is why folks need to be reminded, legislative races, who controls the legislature, is extremely important in Pennsylvania and in other states around the nation, because they control parts of the process, and in this space, they control how those dollars get spent, or if they get spent at all, which is the case here in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so what are you going to be doing later on today to push this message?
2 o'clock today, we're out in front of the Octavius Catto statue on the south apron of City Hall with labor groups, community groups, anti-violence groups, housing groups, small businesses, all kinds of folks like that from various different sectors, basically saying spend the money, free the funds, put the money out into the community like it was intended to be spent. And this money would be spent. I want to be clear about this, Tom. This money would be spent in Republican communities, in Democratic communities, in rural counties in Pennsylvania, in urban centers in Pennsylvania. This money will be spent across the board. It is a crime to allow this kind, as a policy crime, to allow these kinds of dollars to sit there unspent when there's so much need across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And the deal is, if you want to know why the Republicans chose not to spend it, they need to be asked. They need to be asked that question, because it's on their watch that they made the decision not to spend these dollars.
I hear you, but everybody's there. Y'all need to be rumbling.
Well,
I mean, there's $7 billion.
All I can say to you, Solomon, is there's been a number of us that have been very vocal, have been very out front on this issue, have been talking about this issue, putting this issue down, and their communities who could benefit from this money, in addition to our own, their communities need to be more vocal about understanding how they've been neglected in this process.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I'm confused about. So, in communities, out in Franklin County, Cumberland County, places way outside Philadelphia where, they're represented by Republicans, do the people understand that this money is still on the table and that it could be coming into their communities, and have any people in those communities said anything about it?
Well, we hope they understand. I don't need to tell you that those individuals have been voting against their interests for decades, all right? Yeah. And I think you and I have had these conversations before in radio interviews in the past. They've been voting against their interests. They've been when there were cuts to public welfare programs over the decades, they just went along and supported it, even though the majority of folks who receive public assistance are white and mostly rural Pennsylvanians, but they voted against their own interests. So we've editorialized on this. We've spoken on various programs about this. We've had Zoom meetings about this, what have you. I hope that they understand. I hope that they're paying attention. However, it seems to me the thing that they most want to pay attention to is this crazy notion that the election was stolen, and that's all that they want to spend their time thinking about. And that seems to be the response that we're hearing from Republicans, not just in Pennsylvania, but across the country. I mean, you see it in as you observe it. And so they're not really thinking about these kinds of resources and what they could be done. And quite frankly, if the money is spent, let's look at this from a political standpoint, if the money is spent and people are helped, that only improves the brand of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Democrats in general. All right? And that is not in the best interest of Republicans. They want to destroy Biden. They want to destroy Harris. They want to destroy the Democratic brand so that they can be successful in the next election cycle. So from a political standpoint, it's not in their interest for people to get help. All right? But that's not acceptable when you have the kind of pain that's out here that people are dealing with and the resources that are available to make a difference in people's lives.
All right. That's Senator Vincent Hughes. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank you. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show, 215-634-8065. You can, of course, also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. And let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show, 215-634-8065. Or You can weigh in on Facebook at 4WURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD, and let us know your comments this morning on what's happening. So talking about a number of things, including our top stories, which include story number one. Senator Joe Manchin, a key vote in the effort to pass federal voting rights legislation, yesterday said he and a group of Texas House Democrats who fled their state to block restrictive voting bills have come to a total agreement on what they want, which is basically to protect voting rights. Story number two, equipped with air purifiers in each classroom, planning to require anyone in schools to wear a mask, Philadelphia School District will welcome back its 120,000 students in all buildings on August 31st for the return of full-time in-person learning for the first time since the onset of the coronavirus pandemic. And then story number three, my commentary for the day, when I learned that NFL cornerback Richard Sherman was arrested following a domestic violence incident, I was afraid for his family. Then I was afraid for our people, because Sherman has been a strong voice for black justice, and he'd lose credibility if he hurt those he claimed to love. And in reality, you can't speak for the community if you're abusing your family. Domestic violence is serious, and those who engage in it should get help, get arrested, or get out, because abusing one another is not love. It's a crime, and it should be treated that way. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the incident involving Sherman, according to his wife, but video shows some scary moments with Sherman violently trying to break down his in-laws' door in the moment before he was arrested. But this story is not just about violence. It's also about another problem we don't talk about in our community. It's about mental health. According to his wife, Sherman is undergoing mental health counseling. Prosecutors revealed in court that he's taking antidepressants. On the night of the incident, he drank alcohol and expressed suicidal thoughts, that according to his wife. And that can't be left out of the conversation, because for many of us in the black community, mental health is the underlying issue that triggers domestic violence. Richard Sherman, who was released on his own recognizance after the judge called him a pillar of his community, walked away alive after his mental health episode. But Walter Wallace, a black man whose mental health crisis led to domestic violence here in Philadelphia, was shot dead by police. So yes, we must talk about domestic violence and the harm it causes, but if we're going to deal with the roots of it, we must also talk about mental health. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number. Let's talk with Maurice from Southwest on line one. Go ahead.
Solomon, thank you for having that interview with State Senator Hughes. Only answer you can give is the Republicans did it. I mean, come on. How many times do we have to hear him say that? And he didn't mention that he had $108 million go back to the prisons with the CARES money. See, he doesn't take responsibility for his actions. He wants to always blame somebody else. Now, right now we at a Philadelphia historic day that we have 300 murders in Philadelphia. And I don't believe it's a gun problem. I believe it's a black-on-black problem. That's just my opinion. Because a gun can't kill you. A person who's pulling the trigger kills you. And the problem I see right now is...
So guns don't kill people, people kill people?
Definitely.
Is that? Okay. Well, yeah, I hear you, man. And I wanted to give you a chance to say, because I knew you were going to say something about, what the senator said. No, because it's 8:21. We got to go to break. So we got to go to break. On the other side, we are going to talk with Akbar Hassan about your money. And, the one thing I would say, look, Democrats got to rumble, man. Whether you're in the minority, whether you're in the majority, we got to, you got to rumble, And so today they are going to be holding a press conference about this issue with that $7 billion. We hope that they will be victorious in getting that money spent. But the one place I do agree is that, look, it is political. We don't want y'all looking good, so we ain't going to let you spend the money. And that's the way politics works, man. If somebody is in the majority, they decide literally whether you can even vote on an issue. And so that's kind of where we're at, man. And we'll see what happens. But, the one thing I would say is y'all got to rumble. You got to rumble. You know what I mean? They got to leave with some lumps or something, around this money that should be going out to the people. We're going to go to break. On the other side is Akbar Hassan. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
For the past 10 years, Comcast has been helping students get ready. We've connected 5 million students from low-income families to low-cost, high-speed internet. We're working with both nonprofit partners and city leaders to create over 1,000 Wi-Fi connected live zones in community centers nationwide. And now we're committing $1 billion to reach 50 million people with the connectivity, skills, training, and the resources they need to succeed in a digital world. Learn more at comcast.com/education.
Be sure to tune in this Sunday at 2 p.m. for the Physicians on Air show with host Dr. Alexander.
WURD Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey. Brought to you by Comcast.
Email phishing scams are nothing new, but they get more convincing and sophisticated every day. In the past, you'd get fake emails that seemed to come from your bank or credit card company, but now you could also see messages that appear to come from Amazon, PayPal, or Netflix as well. So how can you spot a scam? Look for misspellings or grammar errors in the email message. Most phishing scams try to scare you with a sense of urgency in the message that tries to get you to click on a link or provide account information. And one of the biggest telltale signs of a phishing scam is the email address of the sender. Pay close attention to where the email came from. A scam email address is usually totally unrelated to the company it's claiming to represent. Remember, a legitimate company will never send an email asking you for sensitive personal information, so if you're unsure, call the company directly and never click any links or open any attachments in the message. Stay safe online, stay tuned to WURD for more tips, and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
This report sponsored by America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. Pretty jammed up 295 northbound. Approaching 42 up to Route 30. Accident there. Still off to the left southbound side. You're jammed up there from 561 down to Route 30. Accident there. Also off to the shoulders of both ways. 295 right at jam. 55 north is Deptford in the 42. Southbound 95. Cotman to Bridge. Heavy Betsy Ross through Girard. Further south, jam delivered down to the Common Valley Bridge. Still ongoing center lane construction. Schuylkill eastbound Busy Boulevard to Spring Garden. Westbound University through south. Again heavy in the area 202 with work there. Westbound Vine delays 8th out the Broadigan Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Don't overpay for glasses. Get 2 pairs and a free exam for just $69.95. The exam alone is worth $50. That's not just a better deal. It's America's Best. Book your exam online today. In certain states, eye exams provided by independent ophthalmologists. See stores for details. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Sunny skies, hot and humid today. 95 this afternoon, will feel like 100 degrees. A muggy night tonight. 76 the low on Saturday. Increasing clouds in the afternoon and increasing humidity too. 95 the high, will feel like 102. Late day showers and thunderstorms Saturday and a round of showers and thunderstorms during the day on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, a high of 85 degrees. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Waking Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Don't do it. There's other ways to celebrate your anniversary other than going in debt. The fact that it's credit card debt tells me it's not any debt that was, needed. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So with that qualifier, don't walk, run.
And now, Akbar Hassan
only on Wake Up with Word.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And joining us now, of course, is Akbar Hassan. Akbar Hassan is a personal financial advisor, counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy-to-understand guidance. Akbar, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I almost missed calling into this segment because I had to do something that was going to determine whether or not the start of my weekend was going to be good or rocky.
Uh-oh. It must have something to do with your marriage.
Yes. You're good. So, Solomon, today is trash day. I put the trash out earlier, and my wife, before she went to work, she said, "Did you put out the cat's litter bag?"
Uh-oh.
And I said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." And I said, "Don't worry, go to work." And I went and, started turning my computer and all. Then I realized the trash guy comes early. So I said, "Listen, I better take care of that." So I had to run downstairs and gather the litter bag, big heavy bag, and take it out and all that stuff. But I said, man, whoo, that was a close call.
You'd have spent this whole weekend in trouble.
Then I had to do it like a whole James Bond thing to get rid of it, If I
get rid of the evidence. That's right.
Get rid of the evidence. Oh, the trash guy came. I got to get rid of this. She can't come home and say, "Why is that litter bag still there?"
Yep. You be in deep trouble, brother.
Deep trouble.
All right, well, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. And, of course, the other thing that's happening today, the Man Up PHL newsletter came out today. And so that was good. I was just looking at it this morning. Looks good. We were on NBC 10 a little bit earlier this week, with the work that we're doing in the community, man. So, a lot going on. That is good.
A
lot going on.
A shout out to Cheryl and Kenneth.
Absolutely.
And Jonathan and all the team that are with Man Up PHL. They're doing a great job. A lot of things are happening behind the scenes and also, in the news. So we're doing a great job. We're pressing forward and we're making changes. So, I'm very happy and very excited of the work that we're doing.
Yeah, me too. And also shout out to Keith Brown, the mentee who was in that story as well, man, talking about his experience with the program. So we appreciate all of that. And of course, one of the things we talk about, one of the things that they showed on NBC 10 was this dude in the yellow shirt in front of a whiteboard talking about finances. That was you, Akbar.
Yeah, my wife has told me to get rid of that shirt. Before that,
I like the shirt, man.
That's my favorite shirt. I wear it, I wash it, and I said, man, it flows so well, it's so summery. But she told me, I said, now I got to keep it.
I got a shirt like that too. I got a shirt like that too. My wife please stop wearing that shirt. I like the shirt. What's wrong with the shirt? So we're in the same boat, man, and I'm keeping my shirt too. So it is what it is.
We're gonna stand our ground.
That's right.
That's
where I draw the line. I'm keeping my shirt. What you talking about? So what is our financial question this morning? What do we got?
All right. So our question is, can I contribute a catch-up 401k if my primary account is a regular 401k? Very good question. So let's talk about what a catch-up 401k is, all right? Okay. So a catch-up is something that's offered to employees that are 50 years old and older. Because typically there's a maximum amount you can contribute to your 401k, which is for 2021, $19,005. So if you're under 50, you only can contribute $19,005 to your 401k. But after 50, you can do catch-up contributions because, you want to grow that pot as large as possible. The catch-up contribution limit is $6,500, I believe, for 2021. So that's what a catch-up is, just to help you prepare more for retirement if you want to, just bulk that up. Can you contribute? Can you mix and match? Yes, you can if it's offered to you. So can you match a Roth and a regular 401k? Yes, you can if it's offered to you. Now, the question becomes, why would I choose Roth versus a regular 401k and vice versa? All right. So the difference between a Roth and a regular 401k is that the Roth is taxed today. It's taxed today so that you don't pay taxes on it tomorrow. Okay, so it's taxed at today's tax rate. We call it, money from your pocket, because any money that's in your pocket, you probably didn't pay taxes. You probably already paid taxes on, right? So you basically take the money out of your pocket and you put it into the Roth so that you don't pay taxes on it earlier. The regular 401k, you pay taxes. You pay taxes when it's paid to you when you take out your distributions, your RMD, your required minimum distribution, which starts at 72 years old. All right. So, what determines the difference, or which one you should do? Well, it depends on your financial circumstances. You want to lower the amount of taxes that you ultimately pay. So the question becomes: are you going to pay more in taxes tomorrow being when you retire, or less in taxes, or your tax rate rather? Is your tax rate going to be greater tomorrow, or is it going to be less tomorrow? If you expect your tax rate to be greater during your retirement years, then you definitely want to do the Roth. You want to pay the taxes today, all right? So that way you don't have to pay tax tomorrow. What happens that causes your tax rate to be greater when you turn 72? Well, you could have other forms of passive income, real estate income, right? You could have side businesses. You could still be working or something at 72. You could have something going on in your life that you're building on right now that you will have so many streams of income that it's possible that your income in retirement may be more than what you make today.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you have to wait until you're 72 to take it out without penalty, or can you take it out when you're 65? Is 72 the age? That's a great question, Solomon. One of the benefits of the Roth is that you don't have to wait till 72. All right, and what makes your question great is that the Roth IRA, the Roth 401k is different than the IRA. All right, the Roth IRA you can take out whenever. All right, but you don't have to take it out at 72. You can take it out. You can wait till you're 85. The 401k, you have to take it out by 72. But, yes, you can take it out before. Yes, you can take it out at 65. But a lot of people like to some people like this to let it sit because you might be using your Social Security money instead, or some other forms of income to live off of. But to your question, yes, you can take it out earlier. You can take it out at 65. But you have to start taking it out by the time you're 72. So that was a very good question. So what happens if you don't start taking it out by the time you're 72?
You get penalized.
Okay.
You get penalized. Yeah, people. The government loves to penalize people, so you get penalized. So that's it's very important to keep your eye on that. But so it really depends on what you think your income's going to be when you are going to retire. But then on top of that, some people just like the idea of, hey, listen, I'm going to withdraw this money and not pay any taxes. There's no hassle on paying taxes on it. So that's very attractive to people also. I'll pay the taxes today, be done with it, and don't have to pay any taxes later. The money's free and clear. So it's something you need to explore. You need to look at your own financial house and determine which way you want to go. But the primary question, can you mix and match? If it is offered at your job, yes, you can do it. It's a hassle for some employers to do it because they have to segregate the money. So they have to say, okay, this money goes into the Roth, this one goes into the non-Roth, and, it's administrative. Depending on the size of the company, it could be a nightmare for some. For larger companies, probably not a nightmare. But if they offer it, yeah, take it and make the decision that's best for you.
Okay. So you get the Roth IRA if you think your taxes are going to go up by the time you retire, and you get the regular IRA if you think your taxes are going to go down by the time you retire.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. That's
right.
It's about strategizing and paying as little taxes as possible. So if you think your tax rate's going to be more, then definitely pay those taxes now. That way you don't have to pay it later.
Okay. Now, we started with the question about catch-up. Is there a limit on how much money you can put into an individual retirement account every year?
Yep. So before people who are 50 and older, or 49 and younger, rather, the limit is $19,000 $19,005 for people who are 49 and younger. And then for people who are 50 and older, the limit is $26,000. And
Per
that
year.
amount changes a year. That amount changes every year. And that $26,000 includes that additional catch-up of $6,500. So usually the base is $19,500 for people who are 49 and younger, and then for people who are 50 and older, you got that additional $6,500, which brings you up to $26,000.
All right, now the catch-up money is for, okay, man, I wish I would have put this money in last year, but I didn't. And so you can use the catch-up to put in what you should have put in the year before.
Or in prior years.
Okay.
Years, in prior years, you're probably only putting 3,000 or 2,000 or 1,000. But now it says, listen, you're getting close to retirement. We're going to give you an opportunity to catch up, to put more money into, to bulk it up. So yeah, that's what the catch-up represents.
Okay. All right. Akbar, how do people get in touch with you?
I'm on email at akbar-hassan@comcast.net, and I'm on Twitter at AKHassanReal.
All right. Well, thank you, Akbar, for all the work that you do, man, in our community, man, around finances, teaching our folks, helping us with Man Up PHL, serving on the board, man. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, and thanks for taking out that kitty litter, too.
Thank you, Solomon. It's a pleasure. I plan on having a great weekend. I hope you do, too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you. So we got a couple minutes. We want to hear from you. You can certainly give us a call at 215-634-8065. Let's talk to Chaplain Williams from Pennsylvania on line 2. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, praise the Lord, yes. So I kind of joined in late, and I heard the senator talking, and I've been living in Pennsylvania for a minute, right?
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you how glad I am to let you know what's going on. You know, Pennsylvania is a huge place, so I live down by Delaware Gap as you come in through the I-80 in a neighborhood called the Strasburg. And I can identify with what the senator is saying in terms of spending the money. But I want to bring to our awareness the mindset in Pennsylvania. And, of course, everything is always political, so let's not be naive of that. But one of the things I know here, Brother Solomon, is that, you know, when I moved out here, I had expected to get public access television. This state will not even allow you to have it because they want to censor what comes through anyone who is not the foundation owners of this neighborhood. This place is so well controlled and well rigged. During when it's census, they own the real estate, and it's their children's children who control everything from real estate to census. We don't get a break. If you're not going to marry into the family, a black person marrying into a Caucasian family in Pennsylvania, the founders of this area, there is no break. This place is so saturated with founders. When you go into a government office, you don't see maybe one black person. And I rebel all the time. So
what part of Pennsylvania you live in?
Strasburg.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and down here it's not like Philly. You know, we're kind of like spread out. But if you're from New York, or because you know New York is expensive, we decide to come here. We don't get nothing. We get nothing out here. They offer you these $8 an hour jobs, so we got to go in and make our own money. They don't want to see anyone who is not a foundation member, which means you have to be
not a what member?
When I say foundation member, I mean those who have been in Pennsylvania for the last 15 years. I call them foundation members because nothing happens without them. It's a small group of people who control everything. And if you are not married into their family or they don't embrace you, you can't get in. So I know we have to deal with political issues and Republicans versus Democrats, but in this neighborhood here, they run everything.
And who's they? You say the people who've been there for a long time. That's what you're talking about?
And I don't quite know who they are, but because I cannot identify them, but I know that they exist. They are the people who, like, for the last 100 years, who have not given up control.
All right. So, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD, and thank you so much for holding. We have to go to break. We're already over time. And on the other side of this break, we're going to hear from Kawesa. She's going to bless us with Friday's song, It Is Time. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
The
hottest place to hang out this summer is the Dell Music Center. The lineup is lit. Thursday, August 5th, Tank.
Who came to make sweet love? Not me.
SWV. And Drew Hill. Then on August 12th, Gregory Porter, Stokely, and Leela James. Then on Thursday, August 19th, Fresh Off versus the Isley Brothers. Performing all their greatest hits with Kelly Price and Carol Riddick. Get your tickets at the Dell box office and Ticketmaster.com. This is going to be an incredible season with Tank, SWV, Drew Hill, Gregory Porter, Stokely, Leela James, Carol Riddick, Kelly Price, and the Isley Brothers. For more information, log on to the DellMusicCenter.com.
Star Fusion Express is Philly's first choice when cravings for big, juicy burgers, crispy chicken sandwiches, delicious wings, crisp salads, creamy mac and cheese, innovative spring rolls, and delectable fresh seafood kicks in. Did you hear that? Star Fusion Express at 5178 Parkside Avenue in West Philly is your go-to for fresh, flavorful homemade deliciousness 7 days a week. Learn more and check out the menu at starfusionrestaurant.com. That's starfusionrestaurant.com. For the best burgers, chicken sandwiches, wings, salads, spring rolls, and fresh seafood creations in Philly's Parkside neighborhood. Holla!
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you complete a job, you feel so much better. You'll sleep better, you'll feel satisfied, you may even cook a fancy meal and share it with a neighbor. When you complete a job, you will rest better and breathe. Breathe, everybody. Let me hear you breathe. Whew, breathe again, breathe again. It's very important to breathe. Say, you have completed a job. Well, after the job is completed, it's time to dance. It's time to tap your feet. And you're going to listen to something called Shake, Rattle, and Roll by Joe Turner. Here it comes.
Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Well, you won't do right. Save your doggone soul.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word, and it is time for Friday's song, Kawesa. Have you decided what you're going to sing?
I have.
Okay.
So the song that I'm going to sing, it's actually a Beatles song, but a lot of folks made it, I think, a more popular, like Boyz II Men. But the song is called Yesterday. So that is the song that I'm going to sing. Okay. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it seems as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the girl I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. why he had to go. I don't know. He wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I know. For yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday.
Such a beautiful song, and a melancholy song, like a song that is a song of reflection. Why'd you choose that song today?
You know, it's weird to me because when I hear this song, and I guess I think about love that's lost, love that's going away, but also, you know, sometimes we are not able to even say goodbye to the people that we love, and we don't always know why they might have went away, whether they were taken away or whether they just left on their own. And, you know, just been kind of going through it a little this week, not from a love standpoint, but from a standpoint of, you know, just people in my life that have been taken away too soon. And it's just like, wow, I don't know. You don't always know why people are taken so soon or why they go away. And I love this song too. That's the other part, is that, so even though it's a Beatles song, this song has over 2,000 covers, right?
Yeah.
And it speaks to also not just the importance of, you know, what's popular, but good songwriting.
Yeah.
You know, if you write a good song, it doesn't matter who wrote it, but everybody's going to take away their own, you know, personal feelings from it. You know, they're gonna take away their own meaning and what it means to them for that song. And so because of the fact that there's been so many covers, I've just heard so many different versions and iterations. My favorite, of course, is the Boyz II Men version. I'm biased,
absolutely.
of course. And of course, that was the first time that I had heard the song. My mom is a Beatles fan. She grew up on the Beatles, and so you know, she was the one who was like, "Oh, you know, it's a Beatles song," and I was like, "Really?" So I appreciate the song, and you know, the Beatles, even though, you know, I know they're a white band, they wrote some really good music, and a lot of black folks put soul into their music, because, you know, they're when they sang it, it was like, you know, pew pew. But when black folks would sing their songs, they were amazing. So yeah.
Beautiful rendition. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with us and sharing it this morning. So if you guys want to call in, you give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. You can also, of course, weigh in on Facebook at onWURD. Al from the Northeast is on line one. Go ahead, Al.
Hey, good morning, Solomon. Good morning, Koi. It's a beautiful rendition. Very soulful. It moved me. Very stirring. But I want to talk about mental health, and you know, that people make light of it. And I went through some medication. They gave me a adverse reaction and put me in a state of depression that I couldn't even imagine. I felt hopeless and trapped, but thankfully it was only temporary due to some medication. But people made light of it. They would say things like, "Oh, remember when you were crazy? You were crazy." I'm like, you don't know what I was going through. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But people need to exercise some sympathy and empathy if they've been through it, because it's not like, even I would, before that happened to me, I would think somebody was made of lesser moral fiber. They were lacking something that they would be able to succumb to that. But it's beyond your control. I don't care how strong you are or how smart you are. When mental illness gets a hold of you, you can't do anything but hope and pray that it passes or you get some help. But that's all I wanted to say about that. Thank you.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD, and thank you for sharing that, because it's real. It's real, man. We all know somebody in our family, in our circle, in our neighborhood, in our community who is dealing with mental health issues, and it's something that has to be addressed because it leads to so many other things that could be avoided if we had the resources and the treatment that we need within our community in order to deal with that. So I want to hear from you. You give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. And let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about this morning. You can, of course, also weigh in on Facebook at FORWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD, and let us know your comments this morning. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So a few comments that we have here. A few folks also weighed in on YouTube as well, so I'll try to grab them also. Zen Motley saying, good morning, Blessed Word family. I am glad today I heard yesterday, because hearing the love in the song will make tomorrow a better day. Thank you for a great song. You're very welcome. Thank you. Geraldine Mayfield says, Kawesa, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Phyllis Williams says, Kawesa, beautiful singing song and such touching words. We had a couple folks weighing in a little bit earlier in regards to, I think, Senator Hughes's commentary. Sonia Marie says, we understand the Republicans are running the show, but what are the Democrats doing to fight for the people? Come on now, people are suffering. Michelle Tula-Neal is saying they have no fight in them. Referring to Democrats. And then Emily Stewart, of course, begs to differ, saying, no fight. You have to understand, they know they're all on the same team. If we continue to blame each other for nothing being done, none of us will ever have to take accountability for it. So those are a few folks weighing in. Zero Taste, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. Zero Taste Chaplain says, it's so complicated. Remember how so many rallied against Obama, yet still they were, for the most part, maximize the opportunity to utilize the money legally. We were not prepared to receive the funds, so they know how to take advantage of the access to funds. We need access to funds. So that is her comment. Shalata C.A. Sankofa, I have hand claps here and heart emojis. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alicia Shorter says, Kawesa, 2 words, beautiful and soulful. Thank you. I want to say your name correctly. Alki Dove, I'm so sorry. I know I said your name wrong, but she says beautiful. And then we also have here Sean Wright Dupree, awesomeness. Thanks for the lovely song. A couple folks over on YouTube as well who weighed in also. So I just want to grab them, and I know we have to go to break in a moment. Oops, I'm trying to grab y'all here. Okay, here we go. So we have Thomas Bryant saying good morning, and then also we have Lola Khan, we the people have to pressure these politicians to do their job, call their offices constantly, tell them how dissatisfied we are with their performance, and remind them they work for us. Do the job. Dwayne Wallace says, I love hearing Kawesa's voice, and then he also says here, Kawesa is my podcast crush, LOL, Lord. Lord have mercy. Kenrick Talbot says, Essex County, New Jersey got talent. Y'all, I am not from Essex County. I'm not claiming it. I am from South Jersey. Well, I am from North Jersey, but not Essex County. Let me be clear. Malcolm White says, go Kawesa. And then we also have here, I'm trying to pull this up. I don't know how to say FXSR, sir, I don't know. I'm sorry. He's saying he needs the people's help to communicate and pressure the reps that are dragging their feet. So that was, I think, in response to Senator Hughes's interview a little bit earlier. So those are our comments. But yes, keep them coming. We appreciate them.
Absolutely. Make sure you keep them coming, and make sure that you join us today for our Summer Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philadelphia. Tiffany Bacon is going to broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. to noon. Today, she is going to be at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center. That is at 280 Cobbs Creek Parkway. That's 280 Cobbs Creek Parkway. And so you can go enjoy live performances, meet special guests, stand with WURD, be a part of the moment and the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support, join or renew your WURD membership on site, and win tickets to the 20th anniversary Tasty Treats party featuring WURD's own DJ Mike Nice and Amir Questlove Thompson from The Roots. But today at 10 o'clock, right after this show, y'all run, get in your car, get on the bus, get wherever you got to do, and run to 280 Cobbs Creek Parkway to join Tiffany Bacon, support WURD. She's going to be at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center today from 10 a.m. to noon. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the show right here on WURD.
Wayne Avenue Health Food, located at 5007 Wayne Avenue, has been in business for 29 years. Wayne Avenue Health Food is a one-stop shop for all of your quality vitamins, herbs, and information with exceptional, friendly, experienced service. Wayne Avenue Health Food is open 7 days a week and delivers in the Philadelphia area and ships all over the country. For more information, call 267-338-6488.
So many times we say to ourselves, I need to make a difference. Well, your chance is here. Center in the Park is holding a virtual volunteer event Friday, August 6, 2021 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Advocate for those who can't, support those who can, and ensure all long-term care residents live with dignity and respect. Register for this Ombudsman event at info@centerinthepark.org. We all feel better when we do something that matters and when we do something with purpose.
Tune in this Saturday at 3 p.m. for the We Dream About Real Estate and More show with Hakeem Singleton and Matt King, where you will learn how to buy a house responsibly, travel on a budget, and look good while doing it.
This is WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. We're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. You can, of course, also weigh in on Facebook at 4WURD, at FORWRD. That's FORWRD. We've been talking a lot about mental health this morning and the Richard Sherman incident. And, you know, they talked about the domestic violence part of it, that, you know, he had, you know, he was going through a mental health episode. Thank God nobody was hurt. His wife called the police and had to beg the police, please don't shoot him when you come. Nobody else has to do that. And, you know, it's something that we have to talk about in our community. On the line now, Dr. Helena Fontes. She's one of the people helping us in Man Up PHL through therapy. And Dr. Fontes, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon and WURD listeners. This is such a huge topic, especially to me, because part of my work is to promote awareness around domestic violence, the effects that it has on the family and on the community. In fact, my doctoral research was on domestic violence. And I wrote a play about domestic violence called Institutions Hiding Behind the Lipstick Silence No More. And on the 29th of July at the Discovery Center, we will be performing that play, and we will have Sheriff Bilal and Magistrate Willie Love and some other law officials to come and to discuss what legal ramifications come as a result of domestic violence and the actions of the perpetrator. But also we're going to be talking about prevention, intervention, and recovery. And so I hope that people would come out to the Discovery Center on July 29th at 6 p.m. so that we can have this discussion. There are too many women that are being murdered here recently in Philadelphia as it pertains to domestic violence. I got a young lady, 17 years old, was just shot in the head by her boyfriend in front of their child as it relates to domestic violence. And, you know, it's funny because in the DSM-5, domestic violence itself is not considered a mental illness. However, we do know that children who grow up in environments where there is violence, we look at ACEs, the adverse childhood experiences, these children learn to utilize power and control to harm other people. And so we want to put a stop to it in our homes, in our communities, in our churches. You know, we're becoming more vocal as it relates to domestic violence. And so, you know, I just wanted to reiterate that it's about power and control. One person trying to maintain and obtain power and control over another individual. And it doesn't always happen physically. Sometimes it's emotionally. Sometimes the perpetrator will silence him or herself, you know, just to cause the victim anguish and despair. So it's a broad topic to be discussed, but this is part of what we do through New View Institute. We provide training and counseling services for victims and perpetrators of domestic violence.
All right. Well, Dr. Fontes, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD, and thank you so much for your work that you do around domestic violence and mental health in our community. We certainly appreciate it. Let's go to Eric from West Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Eric.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your comment, sir?
This has been sitting on my soul for a long time. I want to thank the brother who called in, and it wasn't a day show. He kind of like confessed to, you know, molesting his sister. Well, I witnessed one of my sisters being molested. Now I found out that it happened in foster care, too, when they was young, like around the age of 5 and 2 and stuff like that, by the older brothers. And the foster mother was the one that put them up to it. But then they sat there for years, they educated them. Yes, they taught them how to keep their mouth closed, but they won't talk about it. And that's the part that is really hurtful. Because now they're out here on drugs and dealing with all types of issues. But the bottom line is they've been abused, and it's never been addressed. And a lot of people going through this now. And it get emotional when I think about it, so it's hard. But the truth of the matter is we being attacked on so many levels. This is what terrorism look like. I mean, I want my sisters to come forward because I don't know the details. So I'm just saying,
We can't hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Okay. Eric, thank you so much for your call, and certainly, praying for your sisters and for your family, man. It's tough. It is. It's absolutely tough. So, you want to give us a call, you certainly could do that. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Sometimes you just got to say stuff out loud, and that's the beginning of healing. And so, Eric, we hope that that is the beginning of healing for you. And we hope that at some point, your sisters will begin to heal as well. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. You can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So a few more comments. Who is calling me while I'm on the air? Nope, decline.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Like, what? Who's this? Just a few comments, more comments that we have, excuse me. Oh, and I have to apologize to Kenrick Talbot because my mother just informed me that I am in fact from Essex County.
Mom gonna straighten it out. She listening. She listening.
My mom was like, I know you don't want to claim it, but I was like, wait. So I was born in Irvington, and Irvington is a part of Essex County because they got some stuff going on over there, and so everything I said earlier this week was a whole lie. Like, that's my.
I already told you, you gotta claim all.
My people out there.
All of New Jersey, right? You gotta claim all of it. That's all of it. All of their mess. That's your state.
I'll just accept it from here on out. That is what it is. So yes, even though I grew up, from 3 on in the South Jersey, Philadelphia area, I am from North Jersey, and I just didn't know that it was Essex County. I just assumed. That's my bad. So yeah, it's true. So anyway, some more comments that we have here. Linda Shields, she says, yeah, Kawesa, so soothing. That helps my mental health. Mental health has and needs to be addressed. Gloria Gainey, beautiful voice. Thank you. Zero Taste. Chaplain says Democrats have to support public access TV for and access to funds for minorities. Philip Jefferson says beautiful singing, Kawesa. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then we also have here Gloria Robinson saying good morning, Solomon and Kawesa. Thank you, girl. You sang one of my favorite Beatles songs. That's one of my favorites too. They do have quite a few, but I do enjoy that one. Gail Robinson says yes. Thank you, Dr. Montez, for your work. And Zero Taste Chaplain says unresolved trauma, my brother, one love. And I hear that. That broke my heart. It really, really did. And that's why, it is so important to make sure that we have access to mental health resources. And we don't. Our community just doesn't. And that's what we do, right? When things kind of happen and when there are things that are traumatic, we as a community, we sweep a lot of that stuff under the rug. And then we keep it going and we keep it going, and then that becomes generational trauma. And so I really do hope that everyone in that situation gets the help that they so desperately need. And Geraldine Mayfield said, that's okay, Kawesa, we still love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was young. I was 3. I don't remember any of that. So I appreciate that so very much. But yeah, those are just some more of our comments that we do have here. on Facebook. I know a couple other people did weigh in. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anyone, but I think I got most of the folks. So, yep, those are our comments.
All right, so those are our comments today, and if you want to weigh in, you can certainly give us a call at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065, and let us know where you are on these various things that we're talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. So several people have called today about a lawsuit, actually, that's been filed after 4 plainclothes officers in unmarked vehicles blockaded a woman in her own car and held her at gunpoint before realizing she was not the suspect they were searching for. The lawsuit, filed Wednesday in U.S. District Court, seeks damages for extreme emotional pain and suffering, citing claims of excessive force, false arrest, assault, battery, and negligence. Martiana Watson, who's 20 years old, was leaving the BP gas station at 201 South Heald Street in Wilmington, Delaware, around 5:25 p.m. on June 24th, when, according to the suit, she noticed a car driving slowly behind her. The car followed her to the 1000 block of Church Street when the car suddenly swerved in front of Watson to cut her off, stopped, and reversed into her car. At the same time, a second car hit Watson from behind. A third and fourth car then pulled up on either side of her, blocking her in. All 4 cars were unmarked Delaware State Police vehicles driven by plainclothes officers. I thought I was about to be kidnapped, Watson said Thursday during a press conference outside the gas station. The 4 plainclothes officers got out of their cars with guns drawn, pointed at Watson through her rolled down windows, according to the suit. She asked what's going on. They told her shut the F up. And they broke out her car windows, talked about what they were going to do to her. And then one of them said, I think we have the wrong person. And then they left and just left her there. And man, you know, that's trauma. That's the kind of stuff we go through in our community. And, you know, it is scary. And this is a little woman. She's 4'10". You know, she's in this car. They run into her car, stop her, break out her windows, and she was scared to death. And, you know, had done nothing wrong. She said, look, I can't even drive without thinking something's going to happen to me. I'm so scared, and I did nothing wrong. That's the kind of stuff we going through, man. You know what I mean, Kawesa? Can you imagine?
Yeah, I don't even want to imagine that.
Exactly.
You know, I really don't. And it's just, oh my gosh, we just have so much trauma that we're dealing with and trying to work through and trying to overcome. You know, there's a reason why our ancestors were, you know, and the folks before us were singing them songs, we shall overcome, because, you know, we are trying, we are doing our very best to get through and to make it, and then we continue to have so many forces against us. And that is just so horrible and so traumatizing, and I don't wish that on anybody. I don't want to even imagine having to ever go through something like that. I have, you know, friends of mine who they were driving in New York, and you know, unfortunately, you know, my friend's husband has the same name as someone who was like wanted or whatever. I mean, they were surrounded by cops. They prayerfully, there, you know, were no issues with it, but at the same time, when you know you did nothing wrong, and you got cops surrounding you, and they're breaking in your like doing all this crazy stuff because they're not taking the time to really like listen to what you have to say. That's the worst. It really is the worst type of situation to be in, because you feel helpless and you feel vulnerable.
Yeah. So I want to hear from you. You can certainly give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Delaware might as well just open up their wallet and just give that woman her money. And you know, money can't restore your sense of well-being and safety. Like, you know, you vulnerable. You know now that you could just be driving down the street, minding your own business. They crash into your car, surround you, bust out your windows, tell you shut the F up, we getting ready to F you up, all this other stuff. And you haven't done anything wrong. How do you restore that sense of safety? And again, talking about mental health, talking about counseling, talking about therapy, talking about those things that you need to take advantage of in order to even feel safe after something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we going through stuff like that every day. Ain't no therapy. Ain't no counseling, ain't no medication, ain't none of that. Because in our communities, much of that is not available enough. Thank God for people like Dr. Helena Fontes and her New View Institute and her work with Man Up PHL and all of that stuff. Thank God that some of that's available. Thank God Black Men Heal and all of these other organizations that are trying to do it. But in reality, our community is underserved in terms of mental health. And we need it because we're going through stuff like this. This is crazy. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. Gloria from Sharon Hill is on line 1. Go ahead. Gloria? Okay, Gloria's gone. So if you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. This stuff happens to us, man, and we just supposed to just eat that. We just supposed to just take it. We supposed to be like, oh, that was a mistake, sorry. No. Give up the ducats. Y'all open up that wallet. Matter of fact, bring my money in a wheelbarrow. You done bust out my windows, surrounded my car, treated me like a criminal when I haven't done anything wrong. That's crazy, man. That could be any of us. Man, that that have gone through what this woman just went through in Delaware. And the other thing is, you don't know who it is because they in unmarked cars. So I want to hear from you. You give us a call. Renee from West Oak Lane is on line 1. Go ahead, Renee.
Hey, good morning, Simon, Kuwait, and everybody. I just want to give a shout-out to my buddy, Sandra Ali. Kuwait, I'd just be glad when somebody offer you a great record contract because you have a sound that's not common. And like you said, the Beatles wrote that song. The Beatles wrote some great songs. Paul McCartney and John composed that song. But, Simon, I just want to your book, The Bridge. It is so brilliant. It's intriguing how you kept Kenya a mystery and how you keep people reading, how it keeps you reading because you want to know what happens to that character.
Thank you.
That is so brilliant how you wrote that. And also, I want to get into, like you said, Simon, it's so important to read because it leaves a lot to your imagination.
Yep.
And like you said, writing when you write, it's your own personal signature. Like when you read a book, it's not just about the book. It says a lot about the author, whether it's fictional or not. Like your book, like your stories are in the areas of Philadelphia, and you're out of Philadelphia. And you said your book that's coming out in November is about racism. And that's your signature of being a black man dealing with racism in the country. But I want to get into the aspect of love, Questlove. He's featuring a 1969 cultural festival that happened in Harlem that's been sitting on the shelf for 50 years. A lot of people may not know about it. But if you can, check it out, and it's on Hulu. And another thing, Salman, I want to know, have you found out where you want to vacation to and how Sticks going?
Sticks is fine. So her little wound is healing. She had a little wound in her side. That's healing. And, yes, we have decided where we're going to go on vacation. And so we're looking forward to that. And, really, really looking forward. Like in my mind, Kuwait, I'm already gone. You know that, right? You know I'm already gone.
Listen, I already sound like I would be right there. I'm like, beaches, blue water, sand in my toes. Yes, Lord.
Look, bad as I need this vacation. So yes, I have decided. I'll let y'all know when I get back. All right. But, Sticks is fine. She's doing fine. She is, I go in the bathroom in the morning. She in there posing. Like, can you please get out? Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't have a moment to myself. Get out. But, yeah, she's fine. She's back to normal and not limping or any of that. So we appreciate her. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to talk with our next guest as we continue the show right here on WRD. Dr. Helen Richardson is next. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Hi, WURD family. My name is Kim Hall Jackson, and I am a colorectal cancer survivor. If I can convince one person to get a screening, then I know my voice is making a difference. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner and get your FIT kit test today.
WURD Radio has partnered with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance, Independence Blue Cross Foundation, Penn Medicine, and LabCorp to provide a free at-home screening test for colon cancer. All WURD listeners can register for a free at-home screening test as a part of the Go to Know campaign. This campaign is designed to provide African Americans with free testing for early colon cancer screening. Colon cancer can be prevented, and early detection saves lives. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to request your free test today.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to remind you to join us for our Summer Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. Tiffany Bacon will broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. The tour kicks off Friday, July 16th at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center, 2800 Cobbs Creek Parkway. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your full WURD membership on site and win tickets to the 20th anniversary Tasty Treats Party featuring WURD's own DJ Mike Nice and Amir Questlove Thompson from The Roots. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Tour beginning Friday, July 16th at the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center. Correction, that's at 280 Cobbs Creek Parkway. That's 280 Cobbs Creek Parkway today from 10 a.m. To 12 noon. And so joining us now is our next guest. Dr. Helen Richardson has 20-plus years of human resources, career and executive coaching, organizational and workforce development experience. She's the founder and CEO of Career Consciousness. She's here to talk about the Biz Center's upcoming Youth and Money course, Find Your Wings. Dr. Richardson, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. I am excited to be here with you. I've been admiring your work for years and years and years, so I'm delighted.
Oh, thank you so much. We're delighted to have you, and especially if you're talking about our young people and money. One of the things that I have found in talking with young people about money is that they know they want money, but very often they have no idea what to do with money. It's not something we train our young people about. And so talk about this Find Your Wings program. What is the relevance of it?
Okay. Well, Find Your Wings is a career development program, and it's specifically important for Black youth because they need a roadmap to give them hope and to plan to take action, because we've got a very, very unpredictable world of work that they're going into. So that's what Find Your Wings is. It is finding, really learning about yourself. And money is important, of course it is. But you and I know that over the long haul, that money is not necessarily going to feed your soul and provide you with the energy that you need to get up and want to go to work every day.
No, you are absolutely right. And it's funny because I just had that conversation with one of the people who, one of the young people in my life about choosing your career and choosing something that's going to make you happy as opposed to choosing something just for money. It's one of the things that you learn over the course of your career that, to your point, money isn't everything. And so how do you help young people to make these choices through this program?
I teach them about themselves. I teach them to learn about themselves, to really begin to appreciate who they are. And Find Your Wings is all about energy.
is about really helping them to learn about their dreams, because a lot of our kids don't even know how to dream anymore, and to look at their desires. And then we talk about the self-discipline that is needed to really build those dreams, to make those dreams come true. And we teach them how to research various careers.
Okay.
We help them talk to people. One of the highlights of the program is that they're going to be talking with their parents and really building better relationships with their parents, finding out how their parents made their decisions and what were the lessons learned there.
I love it, because I think in learning about your ancestors and learning about the people that came before you, you kind of learn about yourself. Why did you decide to make that a part of what you teach?
Because, the name of my company is called Career Consciousness. And, my background as an HR director, as a career coach, I know that people have to learn how to appreciate what's inside of them, because that's the only thing that you have that helps you negotiate, that helps you be resilient, that helps you really figure out, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? And that's the thing that's got to continue to motivate you.
Yeah.
What is it that I want? What do I need to know? Who do I need to connect with? And careers are journeys. They're life journeys, life journeys of really discovering who you are.
Yeah.
And you can only do that by building this respectful relationship with yourself. And I can tell you one of the things that I exposed them to, really helping them to learn about the three brains that they have. And I know you may say, 3 brains. Do we have 3 brains? I teach them about their head brain, which everybody knows about. But there is a heart brain, and there is a gut brain. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because you got to learn how to trust your gut. I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I teach them that, in our program, we learn how to use our bodies to help us make decisions.
Yeah.
What is my heart telling me? Or, have I not even ever learned to listen to it? Or is that the only thing I listen to? And I don't know how to put it up and make some sense out of it in my head. So we teach them really, really skills that are going to last them a lifetime about how do you really navigate within yourself to begin to know how to make good decisions. We also teach them some core skills, because we know that the jobs that are here today, 10 years from now, won't even be around. We don't even know what's going to be around in 10 years because of the impact of technology. So we teach them about the importance of some core skills like creativity, persuasion, adaptability, collaboration, emotional intelligence. Those are skills that no matter where you go, you're going to need to use them.
Yeah, I love it. So, talk about the Youth and Money Camp part of it. What do young people learn through that?
Well, in the Youth and Money Camp, they learn some very, very practical skills about money, how to manage their finances, how to build a business plan, very, very practical kind of skills. So we sort of blend with that, in that we're giving them the more internal skills about themselves. So that's why this is really a good blend that kids are going to get You know, if they come to my course and they begin to say, "Oh, who am I? What are my strengths? How do I learn?" These are the kinds of things they're going to learn in my program. How do I build relationships? If I want to be a business person, what skills am I going to need? Am I good at math? Does that turn me on? That kind of thing. They're going to learn some of the core skills in my program, which they can take into any of the other programs that are offered, because we're going to try and help them understand their passion.
All right.
And that's something. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, we are going to try and get them to understand that passion is real. It is real. It is what motivates us. It is what keeps us going. And all of us are going to have to work a lot longer than we do now. A lot longer, because we're a lot healthier than we ever were. And there are a lot of different ways. I mean, they say you're going to have like 10 or 12 careers or 10 or 12 jobs in your lifetime. Wow. Versus a person staying at a company for 40 years. That's not going to happen anymore. So this is what we're going to open them up to, the future of the world of work, and begin to have them imagine how they could fit in it.
All right. Well, how do people register for your program?
Okay. So they have to go online, and the address is the Biz Center, TheBizCTR.com/youth. That's the Biz, B-I-Z, Center, CTR.com/youth.
All right. All right. And is there a phone number as well?
Yes. The phone number is 215-247-2473. The thing is, they have to register right away, because we're closing out. The last day is Monday, because we have to make sure we have a decent number in the class. We can't do one or two. We have to have 10 people to make this a viable class.
All right. All right. So make sure you register your young person for this. It's 215-247-2473, or the Biz Center. That's BIZCTR.com/youth. Is there a cost associated with the program?
Yes, there is. It is $359. However, there are scholarships available, and that is something that the registration process will help them figure out if they qualify for the scholarship. There is lunch served every day. It's from 9 to 3, and they're going to be outside a lot of the time. And just really, it's a beautiful campus where it is located. And we are going to go on a trip. We're going to visit with some business people, and we're going to have, and there is also homework that's involved, because part of the program is to help them to learn how to reflect.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Helen Richardson. If you want to learn more about her program, you can go to thebizcenter.com/youth. That's the BIZCTR.com/youth, or call 215-247-2473. Dr. Richardson, thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you, Solomon. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. You too. So we have some time. You can certainly give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. You can also weigh in on Facebook at 4WURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. and let us know your comments on what we're talking about this morning on the morning show. So I'm going to go back to the phone lines. We're going to talk to Miss Hattie from West Philly on line 2. Good morning.
Hi, Solomon. Listen, I think that what's the young lady's name in Delaware that was stopped? But, you know, it seems to me that the plainclothesman who stopped that young lady did it with the intentions of, quote, unquote, let's attack her in today and scare her to death. There was no reason for them to abuse her and talk to her the way that they did. And what reason did they have to break her windows out? I mean, there was just no reason. They were just nasty. And actually, I just think they just wanted to act out their hatred for blacks and cause a news storm, you know, so they could sit back and take delight in it. And I think that's what a lot of them are doing. And it's just no reason. Just tell me. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. I don't know why they did it, but the woman's name is Martiana Watson. She was 20 years. She's 20 years old, and you know, scared to death.
Yeah, scared to death, and I really believe it's their intention. I don't think that they had a reason to stop this woman, but to play their prejudice games. And I just feel that way with a lot of these stops that's going on today. Maybe she had a nice car and they didn't like it, but they said, okay, here's one, let's get her. You know, just to hear it in the news, so they can sit back and laugh about it. Oh, we got another one. And that's just the way I feel about it, Solomon. And thank you for your program. You have wonderful programs. You and Kawesa, you're a good pair together, and I love you both.
Thank you. We love you back, and thank you for your call this morning. You know, apparently they were looking for somebody in Delaware, and they thought it was her. That's what they claim, you know what I mean? And so they stop her, and eventually one of the officers says, I think we have the wrong person, and they just pull off and just leave her there. They done crashed in her car from the back, from the front, smashed some windows, and just leave her there. Sitting in she's 20 years old. That could have been my daughter driving. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. That cannot be allowed. And so my question is this. You know, who is going to be disciplined? Who's going to pay the price for this? Is anyone going to be fired? Are there going to be any policy changes? We already know you got to pay the woman. But beyond that, some more stuff, Kawesa, some more stuff got to happen.
Yeah, more stuff does have to happen. And I really, to me, I think that there's also just, I don't know if it's training. I don't think you can train racism out of some of these people. I really don't. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that, you know, they're supposed to be protecting and serving. Well, you know, where is the protecting and serving part? Once you realize that she wasn't the right person, why didn't you call, like, you know, someone or one of y'all stay with her to make sure she's okay? Y'all left her?
No.
You left her there by herself. She's little. She is little.
Yep.
And y'all gonna do that? And that's because of the fact that they don't see us as human. They don't care about us like that. And I don't know how to draw the line or what else they need. And you know, really, honestly, like I said, you know, you can't train racism out of some of these people. You just can't do it. So miss me with that part too. Oh, training bias, you know, training all this. No.
No. It's absolutely. So we're gonna go to break. On the other side of this break, it's what's trending. And then it's right back to your calls. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
They're back.
Everyone's ready.
Platinum Shows presents the Dell Music Center Summer Series. Sunday, August 1st, it's Jeffrey Osborne. On the wings of love. Peebo Bryson. I'm so into you. And Regina Bell. Then Sunday, August 15th, it's the Basement Party with Big Daddy Kane. Baby Cool Mo D. EPMD, Nice and Smooth. The Sugar Hill Gang with the Furious Five featuring Grandmaster Melly Mel and Scorpio. Roxanne Shante. And Tough Crew. Then Sunday, September 5th, Labor Day weekend, it's the Party in the Park with the Whispers. Stephanie Mills. And After 7. Tickets available at the Dell box office and Ticketmaster.com. For more information, log on to ppshows.com.
Wake up and text.
text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD. All circuits are busy. Here's what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with WURD.
While Sha'Carri Richardson may not be running in the Olympics this year, she still has plenty of opportunities coming her way. The sports star has reportedly been offered a $250,000 ambassador role with a cannabis vape company. Dr. Dabber is not clear whether or not, the company is called Dr. Dabber, but it's not clear whether or not Richardson will accept the offer. Dr. Dabber is, in fact, in need of a new ambassador.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a no. Story number 2. In a recent social media post, Chrissy Teigen opened up about being in the cancel club after the fallout of her bullying controversy. In a post, she writes, "Feels so weird to pretend nothing happened in this online world. Going outside sucks and doesn't feel right. Being at home alone with my mind makes my depressed head race. I feel lost and need to find my place again. I need to snap out of this. I desperately want to communicate with you guys instead of pretending everything is okay. I'm not used to any other way."
And macaroni and cheese and ice cream. 2 great tastes that apparently go great together, because the unique flavor sold out in just 60 minutes. Kraft and Van Leeuwen Ice Cream joined forces to create a limited edition mac and cheese ice cream flavor, and the demand was so great for the dessert debut, the website crashed within 9 minutes, and the entire 2,000-pint inventory was wiped out online within the hour. Would you all eat mac and cheese ice cream?
That's going to have to be a no for me as well.
And that's what's trending.
Right here on WURD. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. See what happened when the folks get access to stuff. They just take it and just, they defile it. You've defiled macaroni and cheese.
How you do that? How you take 2 beautiful things and ruin it? You ruined it. No.
And then you got all these people that want it. Why would you even want that? See, that's, my grandmom, I keep a picture of my grandmother behind me. Grandmom, don't hold your ears right now, because this is crazy. Every black grandmother's like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? Come on. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD radio. That's like stuffing ice cream. That's like, I don't know, turkey ice cream. Like, what do you, fried chicken ice cream? Like, what's next? That's disgusting. 215-634-8065. Good Lord. Kuwaisa, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, and I'm trying to understand, like, is it sweet? Is it salty? Like, I'm trying to, I can't. Like, I know a couple years ago, was that a couple years ago? People were talking about mustard flavored ice cream. I was like, why do y'all want to do, what is the, impetus behind that? Like, why would you, mustard doesn't taste good you got to put mustard on something. You can't just, eat that. Same thing with macaroni. I'm not getting it. I'm not understanding. Are there chunks of noodles in it?
Oh.
Or chunks of cheese? Now I want to know. Now maybe that's why people bought it.
Here's a hint though, Kraft is involved.
Yeah. But
that's a whole other issue of, is it real macaroni and cheese or is it orange macaroni and cheese? See, it's two different things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's got that powder stuff in it. I bet you it's the Blue Box Blues, and you will be crying the blues if you eat that. 'Cause nah.
Oh, that is so nasty. Like, why would you even do that? I don't even want their regular macaroni and cheese. I mean, and then you're going to freeze it and put cream in it. And, yeah, is it sweet or is it does it really taste like macaroni and cheese? Because ice cream is supposed to be sweet.
Yeah, and macaroni and cheese is not supposed to be sweet. So,
So what have you done? I can see a black grandma busting in the room boom, what have you done?
Out here colonizing ice cream.
Yeah. Come on, man. That's not fair. That's not right. You don't do that. There's some things that got to be left alone. Some things you got to leave it to the black people. And this is one of them. I'm appalled. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Would you eat macaroni and cheese ice cream, right? And it's not your grandmom's macaroni and cheese. It's the box macaroni and cheese. Would you eat it? 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. You can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. And so the other thing, Kuwaisa, is they offer Sha'Carri Richardson an ambassador role with a cannabis vape company. Now, if she's wise, she says absolutely not.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that on at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Because she still got, she can still be in the next set of Olympics. I don't care about it. So, she needs to make sure that she keeps her image clean. I'm not, knocking people who, smoke whatever they got to do. But at the same time, you're an Olympian. I need for you to show up and show out, in the next 4 years when we have, the next set of Olympics. So,
yeah.
Yeah, no, she shouldn't take that on.
Yeah, offer her a role with a sneaker company or a sportswear company or something like that. But the thing is, for her and with this, it's almost like thumbing your nose at the folks. That's number one. But the other thing is, the reason why you're not running in the Olympics is because of weed. So then you're going to be a representative for a weed company? No. That's not, don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I mean? I think it sends the wrong message for her. If somebody else want to do that, then that's on them. But I think she has to your point, really, guard her image, man. Bible says, a good reputation is better to have than silver and gold. And that is absolutely true, because as long as you got a good reputation, you can always make money, but once your reputation is gone, then you have problems. So I think hopefully I know she's got a family around her who loves her and who, is looking out for her, and you need that. And so we need them to step up now and let her know, nah, sis, you ain't doing that. So I want to hear from you. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. So Chrissy Teigen, right? She says she's depressed because she's been canceled on social media. And that's the harm, I think, of social media. People begin to use it as if it's a real world, and it's not. And it can affect your emotions and all that. But, you know, she was mean to people, man. Like, really mean. Like, telling people they should kill themselves and all this stuff. Now, you know, this was years ago, and hopefully she's grown from there. But, you know, there's always consequences for your actions. What do you think, Kawesa? Okay.
I'm sorry, I was on the. I apologize.
Okay, so, yeah, what do you think about the whole Chrissy Teigen thing? What do you think?
You know, I mean, she's going through it right now, but I think that, you know, it's necessary for her to go through it. You know, I do. I don't necessarily believe that if people are remorseful and they're apologetic, that you should cancel them forever and ever. Amen. You know, that's also, of course, depending on what they did. Some people just need to stay canceled. But you know, she did make some horrible remarks, telling people to go kill themselves. Like, oh, that was real mean girl type stuff. And so, you know, but she lost a lot. She suffered a lot of consequences. She's lost, you know, she had a brand that was out and like no one's carrying it anymore. And, you know, so she's really kind of going through it. And, but I think that she needs to just kind of stay in this place for a moment, recognize that these are the consequences that you will face if you continue to have that type of mentality and be that type of person, and then come out on the other side stronger and better than before. And so, you know, I think that, you know, she I don't want to say like people deserve to be, but she has to accept that this is reality in life right now. And, you know, but once she comes out on the other side of it, I think she'll be better for it. I really do.
Yeah, I hope so. And, you know, just stop being so cotton picking mean to people.
Yeah, she was
like, why?
mean.
You know what I mean? Come on, bro. But the other thing about that is that they go back years and find stuff on people. You know, I don't think that's right. I think it's like people who are trying to benefit from other people's downfall, and that's the danger of social media. You got some real catty, mean people who, you know, they're mean, but they're trying to promote themselves by pointing out the meanness and the wrongness of others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's another thing too. So, yeah, I'm conflicted with. I mean, I think that she needed to be called out, but at the same time, it is messed up that, you know, well, she was young. You know, I'm not excusing it. I'm not. You know, but she didn't. I really feel like she was in a place in her life where she really didn't know any better, because that's just the person that she was. But now that she has kids, she's a mother, she's a wife. Like, things have changed, and she's a different person than she was back then. And so I don't always think that you should be holding that against folks. You know. Yeah,
I agree. I'm gonna take one call before we go. Walter from New Jersey. You're on WRD. Good morning.
Great conversation. I'm still thrown off. I'm going to say this real quick about this macaroni and ice cream macaroni. Well, I call that cacaroni gives you can really run into some lactose and everything. And
I know.
And and at the end of the day, you're going to end up bony.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft must have thought about that at one of those massage parlors. I don't know how that happened. But that's what happened. Love you guys. Enjoy the day.
Thank you, man.
And I'm sorry I missed you this morning, Kawesa, with your lovely voice. No, stay blessed. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, you too. And I want to thank you and everybody who joined us on today's show. And, of course, I want to thank all of our guests, including Dr. Helen Richardson, who joins us to talk about Find Your Wings, as well as the Youth and Money Camp. If you want to learn more about that, you can call 215-247-2473. I want to thank financial advisor Akbar Hassan. And, of course, I also want to thank State Senator Vincent Hughes. They're going to be holding a press conference a little bit later on today to talk about that money that's been left on the table at the state. That's at 2 o'clock today. And so we want to thank him for joining us as well. And now, for super producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio. And, of course, I want to thank Kawesa for Friday's song as well. I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for The Source with Tiffany Bacon as she comes to you live from the Cobbs Creek Recreation Center at 280 Cobbs Creek Parkway on the first stop of the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. And make sure that you tune in Monday at 7 for more Wake up with WURD. Peace.